Okay, let's just dive right in. We're all getting absolutely bombarded with lists of the best new AI apps, right? But seriously, how many of them are actually game changers? And how many are just, well, hype? In this explainer, we're going to cut through all that noise and find the tools that are genuinely worth your time and your money in 2025. And let's be real, this quote probably hits pretty close to home. If you're feeling skeptical, you're right to be. Most of what's being pushed out there just isn't built for serious, actual work. And here's the dirty little secret. A huge number of these apps are just a pretty new face slapped on top of OpenAI's tech. They look slick, sure, but they don't really add any new intelligence. They're what the source material calls digital fluff. They look good, but there's just not much there. So that brings us to the million-dollar question, doesn't it? If most of these tools are just marketing spin, which ones actually break the mold? Which apps have moved past being a fun little toy and into being a tool you can't live without? That's exactly what we're here to figure out. So first things first, we need to draw a really clear line in the sand. It's time to separate the shiny marketing promises from the real engineered solutions that can fundamentally change the way you get things done. This slide just nails the difference, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the fantasy, these vague promises and kind of generic outputs. But on the other side, you have the reality, tools with real intelligence and what the source calls agency, the ability to actually act on your behalf. We're not talking about saving a few minutes here and there. We're talking about saving hours. And this brings us to a really crucial shift in how we think about all this. The initial wow factor of AI, that's over. Nobody's really impressed that a chatbot can write a poem anymore. We are now officially in what we're calling the utility era, where the only thing that matters is how well a tool actually does a job. So in this utility era, two new rules basically decide everything. First, integration. A tool has to live where you work. If you're constantly switching windows and copy-pasting, that workflow is already broken. And second, and this is the big one, we have to understand the difference between simple information retrieval and genuine reasoning. So what does reasoning actually mean here? A true reasoning engine doesn't just go find an answer for you. It looks at a complex goal you give it, breaks it down into smaller steps, figures out the right tools to use for each step, and then actually executes that plan. It's the difference between a simple calculator and a full-on financial analyst. And here's a look at how that process actually works. It's 4 simple steps. The AI understands your high-level goal, it breaks it down into manageable little tasks, it picks its own internal tools, like a web browser or code interpreter, and then it just gets to work. This is proactive problem solving, not just reacting to a question. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's look at the first category of tools that really meet this high standard. These are the foundational models, the core AI brains that are built on this whole principle of reasoning. Perplexity AI is a perfect example of a tool that was built for this new utility era. Its entire reason for being is to solve the single biggest problem with most language models, trust. It's not trying to sound smart, it's focused on being verifiable. So what's the deal with Perplexity? Well, its greatest strength is that it shows its work. Every single answer comes with these little numbered citations right in the text that link you directly to the source. It literally shows you its homework, which is amazing for trust. The trade-off, though, is pretty clear. This is an incredibly powerful research tool, not a creative partner. You wouldn't ask it to write a marketing slogan for you. And that really tells you exactly who this is for. If your job depends on accurate, verifiable, up-to-the-minute information, this is your new best friend. If you need a creative brainstormer, you're going to look elsewhere. It's all about using the right tool for the job. All right, our next category takes this idea of agency and just levels it up. We're talking about productivity apps that do way more than just make lists. These are tools that actively do the work for you. They are, for all intents and purposes, your first digital employees. And Motion is a fantastic example of this. It is not just another calendar app where you drag and drop blocks of time. No, it's an intelligent scheduler that takes your to-do list and your deadlines, and then it actively builds your entire day for you. The magic here is just how proactive it is. Motion doesn't just show you your tasks, it schedules them. It physically blocks out focus time in your calendar so your colleagues can't just book a meeting over your deep work time. And if a big conflict comes up, it automatically reshuffles your lower priority stuff. Now that is true agency. And that brings us to the price tag. For serious pros, paying around $20 a month for a high-utility AI tool is quickly becoming the new cost of doing business. You really should start thinking of it less like buying a piece of software and more like paying your internet bill. It's just a necessary utility to get your job done right. So, we've looked at some pretty powerful examples of what's out there right now. But where is all this tech headed? Well, the trend lines are becoming crystal clear. You see, the future isn't about better chatbots. It's about the rise of specialized AI agents. This all points to one thing. Agency becomes the only metric that really matters. The next big leap will be tools that can reason across different apps and automate really complex workflows. And we're not going to interact with them by clicking buttons. We're just going to tell them what we need. And this right here, this is the ultimate takeaway. As you look at new AI tools, this should be your number one filter. Don't ask what it can generate. Ask what it can do. Is it getting more autonomous? Can it act as your agent to accomplish a real goal? If the answer is no, it's probably already on its way to being obsolete. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. The era of manual, repetitive digital work, it's ending. The tools are here, right now. The only question left is, what high-friction part of your workflow are you going to automate first?